Welcome back. If you're ready to really sharpen your rule authoring skills, you are in exactly the right place. We're about to continue our journey, diving into another set of super powerful IRL keywords that'll make your rules smarter and way more efficient.
All right, let's get right into it. This next set of keywords is all about giving you some seriously fine-grained control over your business rules. So here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with keywords for dynamic logic, then we'll get into rule flow and control, and wrap up with functions and iteration. Let's do this.
First up, let's talk about keywords that literally change how your rules select, evaluate, and react to data on the fly. This is where the magic starts.
Okay, think of dynamic select like this. It's a sniper rifle, not a shotgun. Instead of telling the engine to look through all the orders it knows about, you're pointing it to a very specific place. Like, hey, just go get this customer's orders. It's incredibly precise.
And here's why that's so awesome. You're completely bypassing the need for the engine to scan every single order object in memory. It just goes straight to the collection returned by customer get orders. You can imagine how much faster that is, right? It's a huge performance win. You know, the keyword else kind of has two different personalities in IRL. On the left, you've got the classic else you already know from Java, tucked inside your action block. But on the right, that's a special IRL syntax for doing conditional updates directly. Two different jobs, one keyword. Now this is important. Evaluate basically tells the rule engine, stop, calculate this thing right now. Think about a complex risk score. Normally, a rule only reruns when the data changes, but evaluate forces that calculation on the spot, which is critical when the result of the calculation is the condition you care about. So you're going to see the event keyword used in two main ways. In the when part of a rule, it's a listener. It's waiting for a specific event to come in. But in the then part, it flips roles and becomes a producer, sending brand new events out into the world. It's a two-way street. The best way to think about exists is that it just asks a simple yes or no question. It's like asking the engine, hey, is there at least one order over $500? If the answer is yes, the rule fires once. It doesn't care if there's one or 1,000, just that at least one exists.
Oh, I love this one. Filter is basically a bouncer at the club door for your entire rule set. In this example, any order with a canceled status gets stopped right at the entrance. It's not even allowed in to be seen by any of the rules inside. Super useful for pre-cleaning your data. Okay, this one might sound a little like dynamic select, but there's a really key difference. While dynamic select is great for grabbing a whole collection of things, from is perfect when you need to grab one single specific object, like customer.getLastOrder. It just plucks that one result right out of the method call. All right, let's zoom out a little bit. We're now moving into keywords that are all about controlling the execution flow. If those last keywords were about finding the right musicians, these next ones are about being the conductor of the whole orchestra. This slide lays out the rule life cycle perfectly. You've got hooks like firing to do something right at the start of a rule. You've got finally and final action for cleanup at the very end. And this is a big one, you have firing limit as your emergency brake to stop runaway loops. These keywords are your building blocks for creating those complex visual workflows. A flow task is just a single step. A fork is where it gets cool. You can split the path and have things happen at the same time. And go to, well, it's a direct jump to another step. It's powerful, but yeah, you got to use that one with care. Okay, let's get into the real nuts and bolts. We're going to look at keywords for creating reusable functions, for looping over your data, and even for tweaking the engine itself to get the best possible performance. The good old for each loop. When you just need to run through every single item in a list and you don't care about indexes or anything fancy, this is your best friend. It's clean, it's super readable, and it just works. So here's the simple way to think about this. You use the function keyword to write a piece of logic once, making it reusable. Then you use function task inside a rule flow to actually call and execute that function as a specific step in your process. Define it once, call it many times. Now we're getting into some pretty advanced under-the-hood stuff. You'd use a hasher to give the engine a custom, faster way to match objects, a huge deal for performance tuning. And hierarchy is how you explicitly tell the engine how your classes relate to each other, so it doesn't have to guess. And just like its partner else, the if keyword also plays a double role. Inside a rule's action, it's for small, simple logic.
But in a rule flow, it's a major fork in the road, sending the entire process down one path or another based on some condition.
This one is absolutely fundamental, just bread and butter. Same as in Java, import is how you tell your rule file about all the other Java classes you want to use. Without it, your rules wouldn't know what a customer or an order even is. So if for each is the easy, automatic way to loop, the classic for loop is like driving a manual transmission. It gives you total control. It's what you reach for when you absolutely have to manage the iteration yourself, especially when you need to know the index of the item you're on. And this example shows you exactly why that control is so powerful. See that items get I? You can only do that with a for loop. It's essential anytime you need to grab things by their position in a list. Whew, okay. We have just torn through a whole bunch of new keywords. We've covered everything from how to select your data with precision, to controlling your rule flow, to writing much cleaner loops. Every single one of these keywords unlocks a new way for you to write rules that are more efficient, easier to read, and way more powerful. So take a second. Which one of these are you looking at right now thinking, yep, I can use that to improve my project today?